Welcome to readtheticker.com real-time Richard Wyckoff accumulation study. Today we're going to look at a mining company called Helica Mining, HL symbol. We've just recently had a fall in mining stocks, or the GDX and the GDXJ. I think the HL is a member of the GDXJ ETF. So let's have a quick study. We're going to be using our Wyckoff campaign phase tool, part of the readtheticker.com objects toolbox, and you can learn all about the detail and tricks and traps of using this tool by studying the detail within the settings. Plenty there to read and help you through the minefield. Okay, it's important to understand that there are 5 phases understanding accumulation. And in my Remind Me toolbox, here I have the phases here: Phase A, Phase B, Phase C, and Phase D, and Phase E. So Phase A, we're looking for a sudden climax with an automatic move up. That'll be the shorts covering. Then we get a test of support. Maybe a sign of strength back up to the resistance, maybe a spring, another sign of strength, and a breakout. So let's see how we can look at this real time. So at the moment I've got the Wyckoff campaign drawn on here, and as we can see, we have a sudden climax here where volume picked up and showed the bottom there, so there's a lot of support for the climax there. Scroll down, you can see the elevated volume. Now we have our automatic move here. Oh, I think the last point of supply was there, and a little bit of a test there. So as you can see, we've drawn our trading range from the low of the setting climax to the high of the automatic move, and that can be definitely confirmed as Phase A. Now Phase B and C a little bit have a few more tricks to add to it to sort of work out what's going on. Phase A is known as the Shakeout Phase. That's the phase where weak bulls are shaken out by the price drop. The next part of the accumulation phase is the tire out phase. That's where the composite man uses time to exhaust and bore the weak bulls to death for them to release their stock float and sell so the smart money can accumulate. So what we have here is an example of that. Here we have the Phase B working, a few spikes up, it's a bit violent, it actually goes down to a test of support. Now at first glance you might think this is a Phase C. Well, we hope it's a Phase C, of course. It just breaks support gently. You do get a bit of a spring here. And you do get some strength in phase. This is what we thought was phase there, a bit of sign of strength, some accumulation going on here. As we can see down here, this very strong up move in the RTT-OPV. So that's a volume weighted oscillator. But doesn't, as you can sort of see here, doesn't really break past positive 15, nor does price get over resistance. So it's a first run of a sign of strength, but it's not a powerful one. See, the volume does pick up here. And rising prices, then it just peters out. So what actually happens is, as Phase B, like as I said before, is involved with much trickery, you may have to redesign the Phase B and Phase C process. That's what we've done on this chart, the same stock. But after studying Phase B a bit more and realizing that we had a bit of a sign of strength to resistance here, but it didn't break it, we're now into a second attempt at Phase C. An important thing with Phase C is what we want to see a break of support and maybe bust some stops, really shake out the last bit of supply Composite Man's using all the tricks in the books here. He wants to get that stock float. He wants to take it off other folks who can't handle the heat. So here we've had the shakeout. We've got a tire out. Now we've got a sort of a spring, which is a terminal thrust down. Bust those stops. Anybody who'd been accumulating this nice little pattern here would have seen this nice support and be buying here, and maybe the odd lot, and putting a stop down here. And what the large operators do, they know they can withstand a lot more pain, so they'll go down there and spend some time down there busting the stops. And then what we hope to see is a real sign of strength. We might get a spring down here. Then what we want to see to be a Wyckoff buyer is a bust back up above support. Well, resistance, which is previous support. Maybe a little test. Then a whopping sign of strength. Takes us all the way up to resistance. And obviously in advance. So the Wyckoff buy points would be a break, after it breaks down the spring, you break up here, and a bit of a after sign of strength, more accumulation up here. These are the buy points for Wyckoff Accumulator Trader. So I just can't see how the Composite Man won't go down and test and bust some stops down there. May only be a day, maybe a week, but all those juicy orders are there waiting for the taking. I suspect after about 12 months of accumulation, most of the stock float would have changed hands by now, and this is what we call our cause. This is the cause pattern, and the effect will most likely be a powerful move up, and of at least to $7 over the next 6 months. But as you know, the first sign that this accumulation pattern is going to end up with a breakout north is when it breaks below the support line and smashes back up aggressively on good volume. And then the next sign is to see a very powerful move up on good volume. Sign of strength, we call that. That would be the end of phase C, probably about here. Hopefully it's about there. And phase D is the breaking of resistance, and phase E would be the carrying on, moving away from the trading range. Just to remind you, I'll just show the pattern again. So here we've had a little sign of strength here that didn't break through. Bit of a mucking around, and we've got hope is what we're hoping for here is a little test down here, and then a real powerful reaction up. There's a sort of high level summary of here we have here break support, get a breakdown, test, price action, and break into the cause. This stock here, HL, is a mining stock. A lot of the mining stocks look the same. There's some other stronger patterns out there. RGLD is very strong. PAAS is very strong. But I just wanted to use this pattern to show how obvious an ancient old pattern designed in 1930 by Richard Wyckoff is still relevant today as a method to transfer stock float from the weak hands to the strong. And all the tricks in the books are shown in the shakeout phase, the tire out phase with his mini tricks, and then the final bust the stop phase, or the spring, before all the stock floats transferred from the weak to the strong, and then they mark up prices to gain profits. It's very interesting. Thanks for watching.